Yeah. Morning, folks. Welcome to the live. So, if you look at, I don't know if you can see the thumbnail because it doesn't always come through on uh, on the live stream. I think it just starts like a short. But I got my blue belt this morning from my coach. So you might have seen I've done an interview with my coach, Coach Glyn Powditch. He's a third degree black belt, Gracie style jiu-jitsu. It's a hugely difficult. Jiu-jitsu is very, very hard, right? Anyone that trains any martial art will know. Takes a long time, and blue belt. I've got a really scruffy t-shirt on. Look, it's got holes in it and everything. I've heard of people taking even longer, you know what I mean? A friend of mine who's a coach there, he said he knew someone who was at white belt for 5 years, you know. It is possible. Because depending on the level of commitment that you put in, and also you do have to actually improve, you know what I mean? You have to earn the belt. So it is. It took me 2 years, you know. I've got a lot on and this, that, and the other. And I was just thinking about it this morning. Obviously, it felt really good because I had no idea it was coming. You know that you're getting there, right? But you don't know the exact day. And this morning, it's an early morning, you know, sort of 5:15, 5 o'clock, 5:15, get out of bed. The weather's absolutely shocking. It's dark. You've got to get there for 6. You've got to train early, and it's hard. But if you think about how that works, you know what I mean? It just sort of lands. Whenever you get a result in life, right? Sometimes it feels like it comes out the blue. It's just like that. But it's not really. I mean, if you think about it, you're gradually working towards it, right, every day. Or when you say every day, you might not train every day, but I'm gradually working towards it. And the best way to be sometimes. This reminds me of the book, The Gap in the Game, because the whole Dan Sullivan's book, The Gap in the Game. The whole premise of it is to measure backwards. And it's saying, look what you've achieved. Hi, how are you doing? It's like, look what you've achieved so far. What he's suggesting is don't be in the gap. Being in the gap is wanting that thing. It's like chasing that thing. Hi, thank you very much. So it's like wanting that thing. So in my case this morning, just got my blue belt. If I'd have been in the gap, I'd have been like chasing that belt. You know what I mean? And one of the best things about being at white belt for 2 years, when you're training like that, is if you can relax into it and just focus on learning and improving every time you go to training, and not chasing the belt, then you actually you fall into it. You almost let go of the need to have that belt, and you start enjoying it. And then all of a sudden, one day you get your blue belt, and it feels fucking fantastic, like it did this morning. But it was like I knew it was coming, because obviously I got white belt, 4 stripes, and it's like, right, I'm not far off. I know it's coming, but you don't know when it's going to come, right? And like I said, sometimes things can it feels like they just come out of the blue, but they haven't. You've been working towards it for a long time. And the message is it really is about the journey. Don't be focused on the outcome, right? You could apply this to business, like or your career, when am I going to make this level in my career? If you desperately chase it, it's quite, you're not in a good place. You're better to say more enjoy the ride and enjoy the, yeah, of course you can, yeah. Just send me a message. You can enjoy the ride, and also you can enjoy the experience and everything about it. So like, it's a bit like in anything in life, yeah, the art of letting go. This is a bit more like Alan Watts, but it is, like Alan Watts' philosophy, like letting go and just go with the flow. And What it doesn't mean is you can't do fuck all, you know what I mean? You've got to put some work in. But I have been, you know, I've been putting in 2 years of work for this belt, and I have not been chasing the belt at all. I've been like, how can I get better? How can I improve? How can I learn? And then, you know what? You get the belt when you deserve it, and it just sort of happens, and it feels really good, and it is like that. It's like one day when you're working away at your business and you're thinking, if you're there stressing, thinking, when am I going to get successful? And really, really, this is why I say when you start a business, it's always important that I think that you need to have passion about what you're doing. You need to be interested in what you do. Because if you've got that passion there, you're likely to carry on. If you're not passionate about what you do, you might be thinking, oh, when's the money coming? When's the client buying? When are they, you know, you're focusing on the outcome. And then what happens then is you end up flipping getting fed up with it. You know what I mean? This is when you give up. And this is it. So I've really enjoyed not chasing that blue belt, just focusing on improving my training. And I love going in on a weekend and things, and, you know, at the weekends. And really train, you know, enjoying the training and learning and listening to the coaches. And this is it. This is how it all works. Yeah, I remember speaking to, when I interviewed John Frankel. So John Frankel is, he's like one of the best practitioners in the world at jiu-jitsu. He's like 5th degree black belt. He's very well known. And he stayed at my house and we had a chat, and he was telling me that most of the work in learning jiu-jitsu is white to blue. Because that's when you're learning the fundamentals, right? He said once you get to after blue belt, you know, you then go in for your purple belt. You're really refining your jiu-jitsu, right? There's 2 ways of looking at it. You're just refining your jiu-jitsu for the rest of your life, right? Which is true, but there is a huge difference, you know, just because you get a blue belt, there's a huge difference. Like someone like Glyn, who's been training 20 years or however long he's been training, 3rd degree black belt. I mean, I roll with John as well, 5th degree black belt. Flipping it, there is a huge level of difference. And, you know, I'm bigger than John, stronger than John, but the level of skill that he's got, you know what I mean? And that's the level of commitment there. So if you think about the journey that people like, you know, John's been training 30 odd years, Glyn's been training 20 years, the time that they've been training, the fact that they've been able to sort of really build that habit for that length of time and really get into it is quite a lot. It's quite admirable. And you might think, well, you know, is it worth it? Well, it is if you enjoy it. This is why building habits and reinforcing them, continuing to reinforce them is a great thing. So myself, if I think about some of the habits that I've really well enforced, jiu-jitsu is a new thing for me. Like I say, 2 years, but with just getting the blue belt now, obviously you get the bug for it and you like carry on. You know what I mean? Let's see how far we can go with this thing. I remember my friend now, who I bet he's been training 10 years, no, 9 years, I think. 9 years he's been training, or maybe 10 years, whatever. He is now at brown belt, right? And I remember when he first started, and he said to me, he went, you want to start jiu-jitsu? And at the time, I was really into my mountain biking, and I was like, I'm doing mountain biking. I said, you want to do this? It's really good. And he was like, I mean, I wish I did start, but this is the thing, right? If you're going to start any skill, right, starting at my age as well, flipping jiu-jitsu, it's like, really, you should have started when you're flipping 15, you know, 12 or something. That would have been the best time to start. And this is a point, right? It's never too late to start a new habit. When's the best time to start? Well, actually, when's the best time to plant a tree? Well, 20 years ago, weren't it? When's the next best time? Well, it's now. Start now. So it's never too late to start. Yeah, if I'd have started with my friend back 9 years ago, obviously that would have been good, but I didn't. So this is a new habit for me. But examples of, this is why I don't believe in get rich quick schemes, short term, anything short term. I believe in, long-term investments, long-term commitment to goals, long-term delayed gratification. Jiu-Jitsu is 2 years. Let's have a look at a few other things that I've been doing. Well, I've been working on my career for over a couple of decades now. And, I have got it to a point where I understand the industry of engineering and software and technology. The software element is relatively new. Before that I was a designer, I was a contractor, I was a manufacturer, all those kind of things for the industry. But I've been working on it for some time, started my business 12 years ago. In fact, it'll be 13 years at the end of Jan. And obviously this year it was actually late last year when I incorporated the business, the goalachievementhub.com business, which is more aligned to this channel. However, they're all aligned because they're all about achieving your goals. But I'll get to your comments in a minute. The Goal Achievement Hub business, I feel that now I'm able to, I've been building that habit for a while about running business, and I'm constantly improving. So going forwards, this is the idea. Once you sort of build a skill, you get better and better and better at it. It's same with jiu-jitsu. Once you start jiu-jitsu, you get to blue belt, and then next minute, well, not next minute, it takes a long time, but then you'll get to purple belt, and then eventually you'll get your brown belt. Then it gets really serious, and then you might be one of those lucky people. Well, not lucky. It's not lucky at all. They've put fucking 10 years into it or whatever. They'll get a black belt. But only if you keep going, and this is about continually reinforcing your habits, right? To get better and better. You're training. Everything is training. Roberto said this. Everything is training, right? You train your mind through reading, right? I train my spirituality and mindfulness with meditation. I train my martial arts skills when I go to training, like I did this morning. I train my business skills by doing business and creating business and trying new ideas, right? And eventually, the more you train at these, like Glyn, my coach, he always talks about motor skills, a lot of it, which is true. There's quite often when you roll with something like Glyn or John Frankel, the difference is in how much better they are. I'm going to call them motor skills, but they're like the fundamentals. Like, I think Glyn was telling me that John Frankel thinks there's something like 12 fundamental movements to master. And if you just focus on them, you just dominate. And, it's a bit like in the gym training. It's like form, you know what I mean? They're just so much better at it, and it just sort of overcomes everything else once you learn them things. So, yeah, this is really good. I'm actually reading Dave Camarillo's book at the minute, which is quite good. Guerrilla Jiu-Jitsu, this one, right? And, yeah. Also, I might say stream sometimes since, whatever. Okay, right. I'll get back to your comments in a bit. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. Right. I'm reading Dave Camarillo's book at the minute, and he's talking about like combining judo and jiu-jitsu, which is his unique guerrilla jiu-jitsu way. And there's some sort of fundamental movements in here. He's like teaching you to fall. Now, we do break falls and things like this. If you get thrown, you need to know how to fall safely so you don't injure yourself. And he's even got things like, the right way to fall, the wrong way to fall, to break your fall with, like, you want to take the impacts with your non-critical areas like your arms and legs. And there's ways to do that. And there's two ways, like when you take a forward roll or whatever, which is like a break fall. If it's slow, like jiu-jitsu, there's a way to do it where you want your legs tucked so you can get back up easier. Whereas if you're being absolutely launched, like judo, which is super aggressive, you want your legs out to take the impact to help. So this is what it's all about. So yeah, anyway, I'm waffling about jiu-jitsu there, but yeah, back to reinforcing habits. I'm just going to end on this, right? 'Cause I've got to go. But I think it's like this. I think when you look at let's look at anything that is hard to attain, that takes multiple years. Becoming successful in business takes multiple years. Getting in fantastic physical shape takes multiple years. If you're a skinny fat from nothing, takes multiple years. Right? In anywhere in your jiu-jitsu takes multiple years. Let's say you want to go for black belt, you're looking at 10 years, right? Yeah, there are these freaks of nature that have done it in 5, but then people live in the gym. They live on the mat, basically. They don't do anything else. You know, it's like their soul. It's a bit like if you know, in the life harmony model, you know what I mean? You've got all these different, in the life harmony model, you've got categories of personal development, and I've got 7 categories in here, right? Which are, let's have a little look at them, right? Categories of personal development, there they are, right? There's 7 different areas, right? And the idea with this is you score yourself from 0 to 100% along each axis, and you create this radar chart, right? And you can see where you're weak. So this one's weak here. What's this? Relationships. And then your job is to grow it. You want to be, if you want to be holistic, you want to be 80% across the board. Now, if you're single mind focused, so you get these like workaholics that all they do is work, 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 and they're absolutely brilliant at the work, right? And they're really successful in what they do in the field, but they have nothing else. They never have any time off, right? So they have a shit lifestyle because they're just prioritizing work. They have the relationships are a disaster because they're just so work focused. They don't fucking spend any time. They end up getting divorced even if they get married or find a relationship at all. Quite often they're bad financially because they're just so focused on the work that they're not bothered about building them. Sometimes, as a result, they end up earning money, fine. But they're in terrible physical shape because they are not looking after themselves. Now, you can be like that. So that's when I see these people that get to black belt in, you know, you will read about these people that get to black belt in 5 years. Well, they've devoted their life to the martial art. That is different. But if you're trying to do this holistically, along with running a business, and maybe you got kids and you want a lifestyle and you know you want a relationship, that's where you need that holistic lifestyle review. Now, in the life harmony model, you can decide, you can go, well, you know, I'm going to focus more over here for now, and it's up to you. You know, I've had that where some years I'm just not focused. Like this year, I've basically not been that relationship focused. I've been like, you know what, I'm just going to give that fucking stuff a break. And I haven't. I've been business focused because I started the new business. So you can do that temporarily. But really, you want an holistic approach to life. Now, if any big goal, like I say, whether it's like, you know, getting to black belt in jiu-jitsu, very successful in a new business, getting in great physical shape, all of these things are going to be a huge commitment for you. And when you look at it, let's say you're at the bottom, when you look at it from the outside and you're looking at that big goal, what puts people off is they want a quick fix. They don't want to actually put in the work to actually get the results. And it puts a lot of people off. It's like when I speak to my brother and he's always saying, oh, well, you've got it easy, you, blah, 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 you know, like my life. And I'm like, I have to remind him that I put 2 decades into it. Right. And I tell him, you're 20 years behind. Right. And because he's fucking 20 years behind, he's avoiding starting because it basically, it's a shitload of work to catch up. What's better to do in that? So let's say you've reached a point in your life where you've wasted fucking 20, 30 years and you think, oh God, what do I do from here? you should still start. Like I said, right, you should still start. When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Right now. So you should still start on any of those goals. That's why I started jiu-jitsu 2 years ago. I thought, what's the point now? But I did. So if you've wasted 2 decades like that, and you're looking at it and thinking, fucking hell, this is a mountain. I should have started this years ago. Yes, you should. Doesn't mean you shouldn't start now. It's the biggest thing that puts people off. So yeah, very happy to get my blue belt. Felt great. When you finish this live, stop and go in your watch history and have a look at the thumbnail. You see me there, pleased as punch, in my gi with my blue belt on. Felt really good. Yeah. Also, never known small creators I presume you mean never known small creators quit because one day they credit coming back. Yeah, listen, I had let's just talk about the YouTube creator thing a minute, because I know what you're getting at. You're probably a YouTube SEO expert. Everyone's a fucking SEO expert, mate, right? You become SEO expert through life. I've been doing SEO for years. I had a survey with YouTube yesterday. Was it yesterday or day before? I was asking all these questions like, small creators. And yeah, there is a thing, it's hard to go viral. Here's my take on it. I don't care, right? The sort of things that I talk about, they're not clickbait. So they're not viral. They're real. And what you'll find in life, whether that's in the internet, everywhere, is you can speak to 100 people, right? If you take any 100 people or any 1,000 people or any 1 million people on the internet, the vast majority of people are not actually interested in improving their own situation. It is so small. I don't know what the percentage is. I would say it's a lot less than 5%, probably less than 3%. You're probably looking at 1 or 2% of people that are actually prepared to put in the work to make the difference, right? So what that means is, my friend Chris, who's got a channel, Busy Becoming Myself, he said, all his most popular videos are never the ones that are valuable. They're never the ones where they're actually giving you solid advice in the key. They're always like some fucking doom story or, some bullshit. Because that's what sells. People are not interested in actually improving their lives. Most people are just online for pleasure. And this is why the very big channels have because the clickbait. Some of the biggest channels. Have you seen how many the Minecraft ones do? They get like 60 mil. Some of these channels that do Minecraft videos and just kids playing Minecraft, they get like 60 million views per video. It is insane. You know what I mean? Yet you do something that's valuable and you would get a small audience. And I'm all right with that because I accept that there's only a small number of people that want to actually change their lives. And they're the people that you want to touch. They're the people that you want to help, right? Can't help everyone. It's Tim Ferriss said, the book by Bo Burlingham, it's called Small Giants, right? And there was another one called 1,000 True Fans, you might have heard. You only need 1,000 true fans, literally, that believe in you. You don't need everyone. If you're chasing clickbait, fine, but most clickbait, it's a different story. It's not for me. So yeah, that 1,000 true fans thing really works for me. I'm happy if I just help one person. I mean, right now I helped myself this morning, got my blue belt, that's it. So yeah, okay. I've got to shoot, unfortunately, it's 9:30. Right, thanks for listening. Let me know if you've achieved anything like I did this morning, right? Like that. Feels really good. It might not, just to recap, like I said in the description about getting to blue belt, might not seem like much, but it's a fucking lot of work, I'll tell you. You're at white belt forever. Right, anyway, gotta go. See you all next time.